In this video, equipment configuration and the testing procedure are demonstrated. Mount the LVDT on the loading shaft. Adjust the LVDT so that the needle is touching the brass screw. Make sure that there is sufficient clearance between the mounting bracket and the cell cap. Take a moment to observe the configuration of the LVDT. At this point, your cell is ready to be placed on the loading frame. Now, take a look at the control unit of the loading frame. At the very bottom, there is a power on-off switch. Next is the direction selector, which controls the direction of movement of the base pedestal. There is a stop button to stop the movement of the base pedestal. When the base pedestal reaches the topmost or bottommost position, limit indicators for upper and lower limit will be lit. At the top you will find the displacement rate controller. A rate of 0.7 mm per minute will be used for the triaxial shear test. Now, switch on the power and press down on the direction selector. If you want, you can use a higher displacement rate to move the base pedestal faster. Wait until the down limit bulb is lit to indicate that the base pedestal is at the bottommost position. Now, carefully place the cell on top of the base pedestal and align the vertical loading shaft to the load cell. There will be a clearance in between the load cell and vertical load shaft. The clearance ensures that the vertical load shaft does not transfer any load to the specimen and load cell reading should be 0. If the digital readout is not 0, you will need to tear the load cell channel. To do this, first press on the tear button and then select your load cell channel. The load cell channel should now be showing 0 kilonewtons. Next, you will need to close the clearance between the loading shaft and the load cell so that the load cell is almost touching the loading shaft. Select the up position in the direction selector to move the base pedestal upwards. When the loading shaft is almost touching the load cell, stop the upward movement of the base pedestal and release the vertical loading shaft by loosening the wing nut at the cell cap. Next, you will need to set the LVDT to 0. Press on the tear button, and then select your LVDT channel to tear the LVDT reading. To pressurize the cell, the pressure lines need to be connected through the quick connector on top of the water reservoir. Make sure the valve at the bottom of the reservoir is opened. Now, turn the pressure regulator in the clockwise direction slowly while observing the pressure dial gauge reading to apply the desired cell pressure. As the cell is pressurized, the loading shaft will lift off. Therefore, you will see a decrement in the LVDT reading. When the load cell is further pressurized to achieve the desired cell pressure, the loading shaft will push against the load cell on account of the uplift force it experiences due to the cell pressure. As the load cell channel is used to measure the deviatoric load, the load cell reading needs to be zeroed at this moment. Press on the tear button, and then select your load cell channel. Now the data recording software can be configured. Double-click on the icon Get Data_412. Click on Acquire New Data and name the test file. Now, click on Start Timed Test to start data acquisition. At this point, you are ready to apply the strain-controlled load to the specimen. Set the displacement rate to 0.7 mm per minute. Select the up position of the direction selector in the loading frame control unit to move the base pedestal upward. From the Get Data Acquisition window in the software, you will see the load cell data and LVDT data recordings.